All right, let's dive into a story that, on the surface, looks like your typical, everyday financial news. It's about a fintech company called Upstart. A stock goes up, stock goes down, happens all the time, right? But as we're about to see, the real story here isn't about finance at all. It's actually hidden just beneath the surface of the data.
It all starts right here, with this one number. According to a report, on September 18, 2025, Upstart's stock had a pretty boring day, slipping by just 0.1%. Barely a blip, right? But hold on, that's not the whole story. Because then you see this number. At the very same time, the trading volume, we're talking about the total amount of cash changing hands, reportedly plummeted by 30%. Okay, now that's interesting. A tiny little price change, but a massive drop in activity. So what in the world is going on here?
All right, Section 1, a stock's bad day. Let's dig into that initial report.
So, the source is super specific. It points to this exact date for the slump. This is all presented as a pretty straightforward financial event, just a snapshot of one company's day on the market. So if we break it down, the table shows the stock change was tiny, negative 0.10%. But the trading volume, $530 million, landed it way down at 214th in market activity. The numbers look official, but they definitely hint at what the article was talking about, that subdued level of investor engagement.
Okay, let's move on. Section 2, the story behind the numbers. So what's the reason for all of this? What was going on in the market? So the report kind of sets up this classic conflict. On one side, you've got Upstart's secret sauce, their really innovative AI-powered lending model. But pushing back against that are these huge market headwinds, things like more regulatory scrutiny and big shifts in how consumers are borrowing money.
And, the article makes it clear this wasn't just an Upstart problem. It paints this bigger picture of anxiety across the board. The whole fintech world was feeling the heat from these broader trends. And just general economic uncertainty was making investors super cautious. It all sounds pretty plausible, doesn't it?
All right, Section 3, a closer look at the source. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. So I'm going to ask you directly, as we've been going through this, did anything jump out at you as a little weird? Did you get that little feeling in your gut that something wasn't quite adding up?
And boom, there it is, the publication date. September 18th of 2025. Wait, what? This article isn't reporting on something that happened, it's dated in the future. And this isn't just some small typo. This is our first massive clue that the story we're being told is, well, not what it seems at all.
And then, if you happen to scroll down to the related articles section, the pattern just becomes impossible to ignore. I mean, look at these headlines. It's the same formula over and over again. Company name, action verb, percentage change. It feels less like a person writing an article and more like someone just filling in the blanks on a template. Which brings us to Section 4, the AI news machine. Turns out, we weren't looking at our human's mistake. We were looking at the author itself.
Okay, so just so we're all on the same page here, what are we even talking about? AI-generated content is basically stuff created by an algorithm, not a person. It can write articles, it can make images, it can analyze data, and a lot of the time, a human never even looks at it to check the work.
And then, you find it, buried way down at the bottom of the page. The place almost nobody ever looks, the disclaimer. This one little sentence just changes everything. The article flat out tells us it was created by AI and might not have even been fact-checked by a person.
And just like that, it all clicks into place. That weird future date, those robotic, repetitive headlines, the kind of generic analysis, it wasn't some strange financial report from the future. It was just a piece of content put together by an algorithm.
So that brings us to our final section, Section 5, your key takeaway. Because this isn't just some weird story from the internet. It's actually a super important lesson in how we read things today.
So here's a simple but really powerful toolkit you can use to navigate this new world. First, question the obvious. Trust that gut feeling when something seems off, whether it's the date, the tone, or the data. Second, always investigate the source. Who's writing this? Is it a well-known news organization or some anonymous website? And third, and this might be the most important one, always read the fine print. So often the real story is hiding right there in the disclaimer.
And really, that's the big question I want to leave you with. You see, this Upstart article wasn't really fake news trying to trick you. It was just noise. Automated, kind of low-quality content. And as more and more of the information we see every day gets built by AI, The skill of telling the difference between the real, valuable signal and all of this algorithmic noise, well, that becomes absolutely essential.